start time for Andreea Grecu, Maureen Zimmer and Buckwitz, Nolte, Elana, Meyers, Taylor, and Kaillie Humphries. Also have equal start time results 5:73.
Attention, foreigners. 5 minutes till start. Uzmanību akvārījiem, 5 minūtes līdz startam.
Šī nav pirmā brauciena, mēs redzēsim 14, nevis 15 dalībnieks. Diemžēl kanādietis Yingqing Hu, viņai pārsvars bijis no smagi bijis labs un līdz ar to viņai piešķirta diemžēl diskvalifikācija. Līdz ar to 14 dalībnieks piedalās otrajā braucienā. Informācija par gaisa temperatūru 4,8, nedaudz augstāks ir kļuvis šeit Siguldā, lēts temperatūra -4,8, kontrols ir 4,7. Air temperature plus 4.8, ice minus 4.8, and runners plus 4.7. Labāko trīniekā Andreea Grecu, Rumānietē šobrīd līdere.
Germany, Buckwitz, Germany, Maureen Zimmer, Germany, and Andreea. Yeah, Yingqing, China, Brianna Walker, Australia, Melanie Hasler.
Race 6 of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup season. We're in Sigulda in Latvia, ready for the second and deciding run of the women's Monobob competition and the European Championships. And for the sliders from European nations, that particular title is an extremely important one, ranked second often only to world champion or European or Olympic champion. Well, we have 14 sleds in the field, because Canada's Cynthia Appia, the sled was found to be overweight and she has been qualified after the first heat. But in our leaders box, we have Lisa Buckwitz from Germany, third place after the first run. And Buckwitz is just 200ths ahead of fourth place teammate Lara Nolte. The third of the German sleds is Maureen Zimmer, and she is 300ths ahead of Buckwitz, currently lying in the silver medal position. So there is a possibility of an all-German podium sweep. But the woman who is sliding in front of the field at the moment is Romania's Andreea Grecu. Now, Grecu does know this track very well. She's had success here in the past. Silver medal in the European Championships the last time they were held here in Sigulda in 2020. That was in women's bobsleigh. And if she can hold this together, that will be a remarkable and indeed a massive achievement for the remaining programme and for Andreea personally. To hold off three top German sliders and the USA's Elana Meyers-Taylor, the Olympic silver medalist, Keisha Love, Brianna Walker, and the rest of them is going to be a very big deal indeed. So Cynthia Appia, unfortunately the sled and athlete with all their kit have to be below a certain weight limit, and there is no leeway. If you're a fraction of a kilo over, you are over. And we're talking tiny percentages of 1% of error. So the athletes spend a lot of time weighing themselves, their equipment, their scabbards, which is what the sled runs in, and the sled to try and come up with the perfect weight, which is as heavy as allowed and not one iota heavier. And sometimes the difference can be something as simple as wearing a Burns vest, which might weigh 1.5 kilos that you maybe didn't wear when you were weighing yourself. Well, whatever, unfortunately, a clerical error. There's no indication that it was deliberate in any way, because everybody knows you get weighed and what the penalty is for being overweight, or for your runners being out in the sun and being too warm. So there's definitely no intent there. Well, in our second heat, the start list will have Linda Weiszewski of Poland going off first, followed by Adele Nicoll and Katrin Beierl, then Bianca Ribi, Victoria Cernanska and Yingqing, before we get to the tie for 7th, Brianna Walker and Melanie Hasler. Then 4,300s out of the lead, Keisha Love, 2,500s out of the lead, Elana Meyers-Taylor, and 1,300s covering the top 4. So ready to go for the second and deciding heat of the Women's Monobob World Cup here in Sigulda in Latvia. First off, Linda Weiszewski, 10th best start, did not have the tidiest of runs down the track, ended up in 15th place with the disqualification of Cynthia Appia. She'll be no worse than 14th. So let's see if she can find a little more. 5.82 at the start for the Polish slider. Best velocity that we have seen so far from her. 5.85 second getaway. 5.99, 5.84 in the first heat. Keep the sled neat and tidy early on. She did a pretty decent job of that, it seems. 11, out into 11 into 12, then into 13. A big whip around right-hander that corkscrews down the hill. Out of 14, dreadfully disastrous long skid. That's why all the fans are watching there. Not only is it easy to get to, but it's often dramatic. And out of corner 16, diving for line. Crosses the line in a 54.97. 300 of a second better than her first heat, and so much of a potential improvement went away with those big slides down at the bottom of the track. Well, here's the exit of corner 14. Runner marks, you can see her from the 2 pilot sleds that went down, so you can see there is quite a lot of discrepancy in line. And Linda coming off and drifting, skidding and tapping all the way down into 15. Well, that's going to make it tough to challenge anybody ahead of her. Coach Graham Richardson with Sean Olsen looking off the sled for Adele Nicoll of Great Britain. Well, Adele started 5.80, 9th best start, but 13th at the bottom of the track. So let's see if she can find a little more control and mingle that with speed. Out of corner 1. Trying to come straight, little drift down to corner 2. 2 to 3 is a quick transition, and then little shoot down into turn 4. Out of 6. Down through the lower labyrinth. Trying to avoid those errors, building her margin over Linda Weiszewski. A little bit of a gap ahead of Adele Nicoll that she needs to try and jump to make up a space or 2. Nearly a second up already. Pretty clean. Out of 14 down to 15. Little tap from 15 into 16. Comes in shallow, and the hail snaps up as she tries to hold the height across the line. 1.18 better than Weiszewski. A 54.30. 1900s quicker than her first heat. So Adele, this is her 5th World Cup in Monobob. Best place finish was a 9th place in the second race in Innsbruck. 15th in the first race there, 15th in Lillehammer last week, 10th place St. Moritz. So let's see how that fares up against Katrin Beierl of Austria. Katrin was last to go in the first heat. 30-year-old missed last season after a mini stroke in the end of the previous year. Like Adele, this is her 5th World Cup start. Didn't race in La Plagne. Came to us in Innsbruck. Best results, 2 11th place finishes. Line here in 12th spot. Just 700ths ahead of Adele Nicoll from the first heat. Starts 5:81, so a couple hundred of that advantage go at the start. While a very experienced bobsled driver, she was the 2020 Women's Bobsleigh World Cup champion. She came to Monobob in 2019, started learning it then. She's not experienced, but she has dropped behind. Can she find the speed she needs? Not as quick as Adele Nicoll. Now she's got a little bit better pace. 0.6 of a kilometre an hour. Comes clean though, gets the little tap into 16. Doesn't get the big skids. This is going to close it right down. She should be green at the line, and she is. 1300s up, 54.24. She came down 54.42 in the first heat, so tidying things up. It's not her favoured discipline. She does provide, or prefer rather, the 2-seat sled. But came from behind down at the bottom. And she came clean out of 14 and relatively clean out of 15. And she had the speed to corner 16 just to undo the deficit to Adele Nicoll. So there's Katrin Beierl that leads. That's the bottom of the track. It comes at you in a rush. Not a Linden rush. That doesn't come at you. That just stands there in front of the sled for Bianca Ribi. Started 5:91 in the first heat. Came down 1100s quicker than Katrin Beierl, but all of that, or some of that, is going to go away at the start. Beierl started 5:81, 5:95, 1400 slower. That's slower than her first start, and a big hit into corner 2. On the exit of corner 1, on the wall in corner 2. She's losing ground already. Bianca Ribi, at the moment, is going to drop a couple of spots. 1300's been between leader Katrin Beierl and second place Adele Nicoll. And Ribi, well, gets an exit out of 14. That's going to help, but she's half a second back. She's not going to make that ground up. Again, good exit out of 15. Good corner 16. Third best speed, though. And she's 6,300s back at the line. So Katrin Beierl stays in the leader's box. Then the rush on the right, Justin Cripps on the left. A lot of thinking to do. Where did all of that go away? Well, it started on the exit of turn 1, which started on the beginning of turn 1. Got a little too much, or a little too late maybe, onto turn 1. And that's all from the start. So push as much as she can. You've got to step into the sled, carry the speed, get into the seat behind the D-rings, jumps over the little seat back, drops in. But here, look, exit of turn 1, boom, hits the wall, skid, tap, sideways down into 2, offline into 2. It was all done by corner 2. Next up, Victoria Cernanska of Slovakia. Victoria, one of the very early adopters of women's monobob. Victoria was a youth silver medalist in the Youth Olympic Games in 2020, raced in St. Junior European bronze medalist last season as well, or rather this season, and under 23 junior world champion last year. 8th World Cup start for her. She raced a handful last season. 5:99 getaway. Started 5:99 in the first heat. Still just 21 years of age. Potential long sliding career in front of her. Does seem to be developing her driving skills really well. Constantly knocking on the door of the top 10. 16th in the races in Innsbruck, 12th in St. Moritz. Didn't go to Lillehammer. Whoa, big height. Oh, and a flop off 16. And that is going to drop her down behind second place. She'll be third at the line. She is third at the line. So Katrin Beierl stays in the leader's box. Adele Nicoll picks up another spot. And Victoria Cernanska drops 2. Currently no worse than 12th place. And Katrin Beierl leads with 9 to go. So this will be a season's best. Katrin Beierl, a personal best in Monobob as well. 2 previous best runs were 11th. Big height in 15. And coming offline. And that means the sled comes down early, then centrifugal force tries to push it up on the exit, so you have to work really hard with the runners. And then you're slow going up into 16. And she was offline there as well a little, so tough break for Victoria Cernanska. Katrin Beierl leads from Adele Nicoll and Victoria Cernanska. 5 down, 9 to go. Next up, Yingqing of China. Well, Ying, the joint bronze medalist here in the race last year. Career high in Monobob so far in World Cup racing. 5.80, started 5.84 in the first heat, finding a little bit more speed and clean from 1 to 2. Extending her advantage over Katrin Beierl. At 2400s in hand, that is going away. Only the 4th best speed. Adele Nicoll was quickest up top, Katrin Beierl quickest down at the bottom. And 3rd best speed. He's not got enough time in hand, I don't think, to hold the lead. She may only lose 1 spot if she's clean into 16. Still the 3rd best speed. Is she going to be behind at the line? No. Some chat how she finds it. 600s up. Well, 54.18 first heat, 54.42 second heat, and as ever, host of Chinese fans. There seems to be a Chinese student contingent in Riga. Every year there are lots of Chinese fans here. Maybe a Chinese employer in Riga. But either way, last 2 or 3 seasons, we've seen lots, since the fans have been allowed to come back, seen lots of Chinese support at the track. Well, there's where she held on to her lead. Clean exit of 14. Just brought it across gradually into 15, and then she was clean into 16 as well. Just enough to hang on. So it's Yingqing of China who leads as we get to our top 7. 2 sleds in 7th place. Brianna Walker tied the time set by Melanie Hasler, a little earlier than her in the run, a couple of sleds beforehand. 13th World Cup start for Brie. 2nd, 3rd, 3rd and 2nd in the last 4 Monobob World Cup races this season. 5.71 getaway. 5.67 first hit and a little squirrely from 1 to 2. So the speed going away was 2 tenths up when she sat down. That's going to be down to a 10th before she gets out of the lower labyrinth. Only the 6th speed. Now she really needs to draw on her abilities here. Wasn't in the race here last year. 2nd best speed at the bottom though. The skills come through, but she's 100th behind. 54.44 slide. 54.07 in the first heat, but the speed went away. Her initial advantage went away exiting corner one. She's such a strong starter. A little slower in the start this time. Maybe she just wanted more control. Reduced it by a step into turn one. But she skidded out of turn one. And the advantage was gone then. And there she was playing catch-up. Yingqing with more experience on the track. And down at the bottom,
Not my day.
not her day at all. So Yingqing leads, and we still have a 7th place slider to go. So this is Switzerland's Mel Hasler, silver medalist in La Plagne, 7th and 4th in Innsbruck, 5th in St. Moritz, 9th in Lillehammer. Let's see if you can find a little more at the start. First getaway 5.75, 5.76 in the second. Clean out of 1 into 2 though, that's much better. Little tap, square tap in 4. And then 5, and then 6. Into the lower labyrinth, 7, 8 and 9. And the right-hander at corner 10. Out of 11. Vital for speed at the bottom. Looking good so far. Gradually building her advantage over Yingqing of China. 1100s from the first heat. She's nearly doubled it. Oh, big skid into 16, but it shouldn't be enough to harm her too badly at the line. 600s in front. Took a lot of speed off. Whoa. Yeah, exactly right. Only 600. Well, when the sled turns sideways to the right and the corner turns sideways to the left, you're going to scrub off a lot of speed. 54.47. Just enough to hang on to the top 7 place. Top 7. I don't think that's going to see her move into the top 6. Somebody else is going to have a bit of a disaster. Down at the bottom. Out of 15, over the brow, hits the wall. That's what kicked the sled sideways. And then it comes back on her. It's turning right as she wants it to turn left. Imagine what that feels like in a car doing 70 miles an hour when it's skidding to the right and then you wrench it into a left-hander. 6 to go. Keisha Love of the USA. Keisha in her first World Cup season as a driver. She was competing here last year with Kaillie Humphries, pushing the 2-seat sled. 2 gold, 1 silver medal so far this season. Worst result has been a 9th place finish, yes, in St. Moritz. Of all tracks there, you don't want to have a tough time. 5.65 compared to 5.73 in the first heat. Finds 800s. And the bobsleigh rules say that should be 2400s quicker at the bottom. 1/10 at the top should be worth 3/10 at the bottom. Let's say maybe 2.5 tenths in a monobob sled because they tend to skid around more than the regular sleds. Out to 3500s ahead of Melanie Hasler. She's challenging to move up the order, but she's losing ground, only the 7th best speed. Little hit going into 16, but she goes in straight. She'll have the lead at the line, but by how much? 3100s. So Mel Hasler drops back. 54.34. 65 start. 54.34 from Keisha Love. Well, she produced more at the start there and found a little on the track compared to some of her rivals. Nobody's going as quick as in the first heat. 53.89 in the first, 54.34 in the fourth. So 4,500 slower. Mel Hasler was 4/10 slower. All right. Well, let's see if Elana Myers-Taylor can buck that trend. If the track is not quite as quick as it was early on, that could make life very entertaining for the final few sleds. Elana Meyers-Taylor, 5th place after the first of our 2 heats. 2 4th-place finishes, her best results this season in La Plagne and in St. Moritz. La Plagne, a driver's track that's busy. St. Moritz, a glowing, flowing paradise. This is rough, tough, and bad to know. 5.68 start. What did she start in the first heat? 5.73. So the start area does seem to be giving a little bit more speed, and the track takes away with the other hand. 1500s ahead of Kaillie Love, down to 1200s. This could be tight with the teammate. She was 1200s ahead of Kaillie from the first heat. Now she's starting to hit the higher speeds. Elana was one of the quickest at the bottom in the first heat. Decent exit out of 14, just a square tap, 4th best speed. Good exit out 15. 5th best speed, was 3500s up at the line, 3600s. So Kaillie Love leads the leaders box. She will be no worse than 6th place. Elana Meyers-Taylor leads. 54.16. Now her first heat was the 53.71, so what's that, 3500ths of a second slower. So losing less time than Kaillie, or finding more on a slower track. Is that perhaps the way that we ought to say it? Extra 14 late, doesn't panic steer, allows the sled to be pushed across, takes the tap. You want to come over to the sliders left there anyway. Hi, Mum and Dad. Or Grandpa and Grams, as they probably are. Elana Meyers-Taylor leading from Kaillie Love. And now we get into the medal battle. 4 sleds, 1300s. This could be a bit of a lottery. First up, Nolte. Nolte, the Monobob world champion in St. Moritz last year. Youth Olympic champion in 2016 in Monobob as well. 5.73 getaway in the first heat, 5.74 in the second. Any one of these 4 sleds could win this race. Any one of these 4 sleds could drop out of the medals. There is absolutely no guarantee for anybody. It's down to 1 drive. It is so close. Was 600s ahead of Elana after her start, down to 300s. Needs to find speed at the bottom. Not as quick. Still not as quick. 1.3 down on the fastest speed of Katrin Beierl. Elana was a whisker quicker. She's going to be behind at the line, I think. Ultra's not going to hold on. He does hold on. But Elana still moves that one. Wow. Little ripple from Renee Spies. And her brand new brakewoman there, who competed for the first time yesterday, watching there. Nolte not feeling the love of this sled today at all. She was complaining after the first heat that the brakes had been bouncing down onto the track all the way down. We didn't see any sign of that from the cameras, and they do show a lot of the sled. Not happy. All right, well, she's our joint leader, so at least she didn't drop one. But she wonders now if that's enough for a medal. I wonder too. All right, 3 to go. Next up, Lisa Buckwitz. She is a serial podium finisher. This season, 7th in La Plagne. That was really off form. And then gold and gold in Innsbruck with a 2-woman gold as well. Gold in St. Moritz, silver, Lillehammer. Let's watch who's got this morning. First heat, 5.61. Start record. That is how we go. 5.55 start record. She was only 100th off the start record in the first heat, set by Cynthia Appia. This is Lisa Buckwitz going for gold. Only 100th off the lead in the first heat. She wants the gold medal. She wants to become European champion. 4,400 up. Exceptional run from Lisa Buckwitz. Perfect off 14. On the right side into 15. Gets good height. Uses it nicely. Textbook stuff down the bottom. Does not have the best speed, but she's going to be across the line. 4,100 up. That might be the winning run. Huge run from Lisa Buckwitz off a start record 5:55 getaway. Wowee. Well, Lisa putting a lot of clear air between herself and teammate Lara Nolte, and even with that start, she still ended up sitting on the top of the seat rather than dropping in front of the seat back. I say it's seat, you basically sit on the floor of the sled. There is a little half-moon-shaped, what is it, maybe 6 or 8 centimetre high brace that you push yourself against. But what a start record, what a run from Lisa Buckwitz. Is that enough? 2 to go. Well, this is a huge opportunity for Germany's young Maureen Zimmer. She's in for injured Kim Kalicki. Maureen, last year's junior world and junior European champion. Second World Cup start only. This is only her second weekend at track. Started and trained for the Euro Cup last year. Did not race. Gets to weigh 564, so she's at a big disadvantage. She only had 300s in hand over Lisa Buckwitz. That has all gone away because of Lisa's astonishing starting. It's going to have to be a heck of a drive for Maureen Zimmer to try and rein in the flyaway Lisa Buckwitz. This might be a battle for the other positions, and right now, I think she's in trouble from Lara Nolte. She is in trouble from Lara Nolte. And right now, she's going to drop behind Lara Nolte and Elana Meyers-Taylor into 4th place. Only the 12th best speed. A medal has gone. She's down to 5th. Buckwitz leads with 1 to go. Well, it was a great first run from Maureen Zimmer. The second run was the run of a driver who's only racing here for the first time. And don't forget that she's not doing the women's bob, and so that means she gets fewer training runs on the ice as well. Well, now then, Lisa Buckwitz leads from Lara Nolte and Elana Meyers-Taylor, with Keisha Love in 4th. So at the moment, we would have a gold and 2 silvers and no bronze medal. We have 1 sled to go. All right, Maureen, with plenty to think about. So too has this young woman, Andreea Grecu of Romania, European Championship silver medalist in women's bobsleigh in 2020. Let's see what she can produce. Last year, she was the European Championship silver medalist behind Lara Nolte and ahead of Kim Kalicki in Altenburg. She knows track well. This is potentially an epic day for 29-year-old Andreea Grecu. She needs everything to go right here. 5:61 getaway. So already as she sits down, she's got a 500th advantage. Clean from 1 to 2. Square tap in 4. But she's behind the enormous start of Lisa Buckwitz. Rocketed her sled down the track. Grecu, without that early speed, must stop the bleeding out of 11. If she's to win the gold, it needs to turn around now in her favour. Great exit, 1500s back, but the speed's not there. She's not finding the speed. Good run down into 16 from Andreea Grecu. It is not going to be gold. It is going to be silver for Grecu and gold for Lisa Buckwitz. Another European silver medal on this track for Andreea Grecu. And Lisa Buckwitz is the European champion in women's monobob. Lisa Buckwitz claims her 4th win of the season in monobob. And Andreea Grecu, with that slender lead from the first heat, did everything she could. Didn't see massive errors. The speed is gradually coming out of the sled. A little late there, out of 11. And all of those tiny increments just adding up. Lisa Buckwitz with an astonishing start record. And a 53.89 run from Lisa Buckwitz in the second heat was actually just under 3/10, or just over 3/10 slower than her first heat. Nobody went quicker. The track was not holding its speed. Buckwitz managed to find a great run, and it wasn't just the start. She really drove well too. Look at this bottom end. You're not going to see many better. The new European champion, Lisa Buckwitz. Well, what a season she is having. Off the podium in La Plan and out of shape 7th place. But she is our winner here. She's our European champion ahead of Andreea Grecu. Bronze goes to last year's gold medalist, Lara Nolte, who tied here for the bronze with Elana Meyers-Taylor. That's Elana's first Monobob World Cup medal. She didn't race in the World Cup last season. Her previous medals were in the Monobob World Series, which preceded the World Cup. Brianna Walker 9th ahead of Katrin Beierl and Adele Nicoll. Some changes around in the order. Disappointing second run there for Bianca Ribi. Disappointing one for as well for Victoria Cernanska. Well, Adele getting herself up to 11th. Her joint second best monobob result. Katrin Beierl 10th place. And that is her PB in the Monobob World. Again, did not race in the World Cup last season. So the World Cup rankings, well, if I told you Lisa Buckwitz was at the top of them, would you believe me? You pretty much ought to. There are the medalists: Lisa Buckwitz, Andreea Grecu on the left, and Lara Nolte, Elana Meyers-Taylor, and young Noah there on the right-hand side. And there will be a quick shuffle while we re-watch Lisa Buckwitz's run. Oh, ow, ouch. Right on the coccyx as she lands on the seat back. Another World Cup gold to go in her monobob haul. And she's been like a pirate on the high seas this season. No gold has been safe. And Paul Sanders down there, floor managing and herding sheep. We'll get a look at our World Cup rankings. Lisa Buckwitz roaring away from Kaillie and Brianna Walker, Lara Nolte and Andreea Grecu. Elana Meyers-Taylor in 6th ahead now of Melanie Hasler and Yingqing. There's a massive group clustered up behind Lisa Buckwitz. Lisa is absolutely slaying it this season. Cynthia Appia, Bianca Ribi of Canada at the tail of the top 10. And Adele Nicoll moving up the order with Katrin Beierl as well, closing on Margot Bock, who is not here this weekend. Next time out will be in 2 weeks' time in Altenburg in Saxony. And that will be the week before the World Championships in Winterberg. So that will be a full field as well. And in terms of the European Championships, our European champion, Lisa Buckwitz, silver medalist on the left, Andreea Grecu, and on the right, the bronze goes to Lara Nolte. Well, Grecu, another European Championship silver medal. That is 3, 2 earned on this track. And the European Championship rankings. Maureen Zimmer taking 4th ahead of Mel Hasler and Katrin Beierl. 7th place for Great Britain's Adele Nicoll ahead of Victoria Cernanska and Linda Weiszewski. So there you go, women's monobob done and dusted for the weekend. The women will be back in action tomorrow morning at the same time, 10 local, 0800 GMT, 0300 for women's bobsleigh Europeans. But this afternoon, the men are in action. A two-man bobsleigh, 14:30 Latvian time, 12:30 GMT, 07:30 Eastern. And that will be in 2 hours and 30 minutes from now. We'll see you then. Bye for now. And she doesn't even have to do an interview with me. Yeah, well, she's got to do it with Paul anyway, but she just...